Chapter 8, The Big Game by Tim Green. Crooked Creek rallied around its young football star. Word spread fast on social media, and everyone agreed that John Markle had gotten what he was asking for, and certainly what he deserved. Janny and Cupcake kept Danny up to date, Janny by phone and Cupcake over the Xbox headset. "Listen to this, Cupcake, you're shouting." Danny turned down the headset volume. "It's Jace Akers, bro." Jace Akers posted, "Standing strong with my teammate Danny Owens, our 7th grade stud running back. Respect, bro." He said respect. "I know, you just read it." Danny sounded casual, but his grin stretched wide. Jace Akers was an 8th grader, the quarterback, and the offensive team captain. Jace's girlfriend was a cheerleader and said to be the prettiest girl in the school. He'd always treated Danny nicely, but this was something different. At practice, the 8th graders still looked down on the 7th graders. Even guys like Danny and Cupcake, who were starters, got treated like unwanted relatives at best. He made a mental note to thank Jace tomorrow at practice. When it came time to shut down for the night, Danny briefly thought about Markle and his parents. Parent. He was pretty sure Markle's father had moved away a long time ago. He pushed the thought of Markle's mom out of his head. What could she expect? With a kid like her son, she was probably used to fights and bloody noses. He wandered out into the smoky living room. His mom had the TV on and a glass of strawberry vodka in her hand, which she nearly finished when she saw Danny. "What's up, kiddo?" She sat on the couch with her legs curled underneath her. "Just saying good night." "So early?" "Practice tomorrow's early, and then school starts the next day." "Yeah, I knew that," she said, but he could tell by her expression that she hadn't known. "Mom?" "Yep." Danny paused because he didn't want this to come out wrong. "Maybe you should, I don't know, see if you can't find a job or something." Her face softened. "You don't have to worry about money. This house is paid for and your father's taking good care of us." Danny couldn't keep his eyes off the glass in her hand. "It's not the money. I just thought you might like to have something to keep your mind off of things. With me going to school now is all I was thinking." She smiled. "You're one sweet boy, Danny. You always were. Even when you were a baby. No crying, no fussing. You just lay there and smile and burp. For a while there, I thought there was something wrong with you." Danny knew she'd get mad if he said she was drinking too much. She always did when his dad said it. So instead he asked, "You okay?" She waved him off. "Oh, I'm fine as I can be." Danny stood silently for a moment before she said, "I got in a fight today at practice." She grinned at him. "I heard all about it. Mrs. Markle called you." Danny felt a twinge of concern. "Sweetheart, I heard about it almost right before it happened." His mother's keeping quiet as she would. "I'm proud of you. Everyone says he was asking for it." She raised her glass in a toast before tasting the last sip. "That's the pride in you. You can't help who you are." Coach was mad. He'll get glad when you run through Frostman at Thursday's game." "It's Thursday, right?" "Yes." He suddenly felt like he should hug his mom, but that made him uncomfortable. He'd grown up with his dad telling him not to be soft. Boys, his father said many a time, needed to be grabbed by the neck, not smothered with kisses and hugs. But Danny remembered how the hug his father had given him on the hill before it happened. Maybe his father had been trying to tell him something. The commercial on TV ended and his mom's show came back on, drawing her attention back to the screen. The moment passed and Danny went to bed. I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 9 since that was very short. When Danny got to practice early the next morning, he walked over to where Jace was warming up his arm with Jake Moreland. Jake was Jace's best friend and the team's #1 receiver. "Hey, Jace." "Hey, Danny." Jace fired the ball at Jake, who caught it with a soft thud. "I just wanted to say thanks for that post." "Yeah, well," Jace snatched Jake's return pass from the air. "Just don't bloody my nose, okay?" They both laughed, and it felt good to Danny to be standing with their team captain sharing a joke. "You know what they say, right?" Jace said. "No, what?" "Man's best friend is his dog, but a quarterback's best friend is his runner, so I got your back." Jace held the ball and flashed him a smile, "Even though you're not no 7th grader." They both laughed again, and Danny felt his chest swell. He belonged there. He felt good as he crawled beneath the sheets that night. He slept well and got up early, so he had plenty of time to comb his hair and check his appearance in the mirror. His mom liked to buy him nice things, dressing him up to look sharp in khakis and polo shirts. Everyone knew everyone, but still he was going to junior high, and there was some excitement in the air. He caught the bus and made room for Janie when she caught on at her own stop. She wore a new dress, yellow with a white flower print. Her hair was the same, though. She wore no makeup, and she was grumpy because she slept poorly. "What's up?" he asked. "Nerves." She gave him a weak smile. "I know, right? Junior high. All of a sudden, you're not kids anymore. We're not kids anymore." "So they say." Janie brushed a loose strand of her hair from her face and tucked it behind her ear. "I like being a kid." "You'll like this too. You look great," he offered an honest smile. "To you. Hey, I'm a big deal. Just you wait till we play Frost, and sitting next to me will be worth something. You might have to get a ticket," he laughed at himself. "Ticket? I'm on the team, buddy, and don't forget." "True, true." They got off the bus and fell into the flow of students screaming across the circle, past its flagpoles, and into the main entrance. That's where they were waiting for him. Well, I'll read chapter 10 too. Coach Cotton was an 8th grade math teacher, and he dressed the part with a short-sleeved shirt, a thin tie, and his bristly hair kind of uneven and dorky. The principal, Danny, was pretty sure his name was Mr. Trufant, who wore a light gray suit and brown sewed shoes. His head was entirely bald, and his steel-framed glasses gave him a villainous look. Then there was someone Danny didn't recognize, a thin man with a scruffy goatee wearing battered jeans and a plaid shirt open at the collar. Mr. Trufant spoke first. "Danny, we need you to come with us." Danny glanced at Janie. She looked shocked and even frightened. When Danny hesitated, Coach Kynan took him by the arm. "It's going to be fine, Danny. We want to help." Danny let his coach lead him away through the sea of gawking students, with Mr. Trufant and the unknown man trailing behind. The 4 of them went into the conference room, and the principal closed the door. He pointed to the long table. "Have a seat." Danny and Coach Kynan sat on one side of the table, taking a seat on the opposite side with the other man, Mr. Trufant said. Mr. Trufant said, "Danny, I want you to know that these 2 men are entirely on your side. As principal, I have to look at things from a wider viewpoint. So where I see a serious assault on another student on school grounds, these 2 gentlemen see someone crying out for help." "Hi, Danny," said the scruffy man, who looked young enough to be a student himself. "I'm Bob Crenshaw, the school counselor. It's nice to meet you." Apparently that was all the counselor had to say. He folded his hands on the table and turned toward the principal. Mr. Trufant cleared his throat. "You had a study hall 3rd period, but I switched your schedule so that now you have your study hall 1st period. For now, you'll report to Mr. Crenshaw for that study hall. He'll determine which days you go to the library and which days you'll be spending 1st period with him." Despite the serious looks on the 3 men's faces, Danny chuckled and looked the principal in the eye, offering a humble but charming smile, just like he'd been taught. "I'm not sure what this is about, sir. I'm fine. Marco insulted my family, my dad, actually, and we got into it. That's all." Danny looked at his coach. His lips were squeezed together tight, eyes glued to the principal, giving Danny no hope of rescue. "That's not all, Danny." Mr. Trufant had a folder Danny had noticed. He laid it on the table and removed a color copy of a photo. Showed John Markle's battered face. Aside from the long blonde hair, and knowing that he had taken a beating yesterday, Danny would not have recognized the boy. He shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The principal glared at Coach Kynan as if he'd done something wrong. "Do I need to spell this out, Dave?" "No." Coach Kynan shook his head. "Did you contact the mother?" asked the principal. "She didn't answer, but I left a message, and I'm sure she'll call me back." The coach turned to Danny. "Look, Danny, this is serious. You need to trust me and go along with whatever Mr. Trufant says. He is our friend in all this. You understand?" "I'm not sure." "Okay," said his coach, taking a deep breath. "You spell it out. There are people, including Marco's mom, who would like to see you suspended from school and banned from the football team for the entire season." Danny swallowed and nodded that he understood, but he started it. Coach Kynan banged his palm on the table and everyone jumped. "That's irrelevant. Get that through your head. You need to get in line here, or you definitely won't be playing football, and we need you to play ball. The team needs you." "Okay," Danny kept his chin up. Is your mom at work or something? She's not away, is she? The coach asked. Danny thought about last night's strawberry vodka. She's probably asleep. She wasn't feeling well. Make sure she gives me a call. The coach looked at the principal, who nodded with approval. You're going to like Mr. Crenshaw. He's not going to help you, Danny, and we're not going to fight us on this, are you? No, sir. See, Coach Conant said to the other two men. This will all work out, Danny. You go with Mr. Crenshaw, and I'll see you at practice. Good, then. The principal patted the table like it was a horse's rump stud and went off to begin the announcements. Coach Conant gave Danny's shoulder a squeeze, and then he left. Crenshaw sat looking at Danny with a curious smile. Danny couldn't help frowning back at him and asking, So what now?